With the 49ers, their running back room outside of Christian McCaffrey has taken some hits. And, Isaac Guerendo has a shoulder injury, sidelining him for a few weeks. And Jordan James did return to 49ers camp and apparently looks really fast. So Jordan James could possibly be the handcuff in this room, right? That's going to be a premium handcuff as well. Is it going to be Jordan James? Is it going to be Isaac Guerendo? Which guy is going to be the better player to have? And this is honestly probably going to be a situation where you're holding Isaac Guerendo. CMC maybe misses some time, right? And Isaac Guerendo ends up getting injured after a week or two. I wholeheartedly see that as a world of possibilities. And you're out here, like picking up whatever running back is on the scrap heap that you may have a chance to have in that 49ers backfield, right? And so CMC, though, if you're drafting him this year, he's a guy that you're going to need and going to want to handcuff. Jordan James and Isaac Guerendo are practically free. Jordan James is going to be much, much cheaper. Jordan James is picked 331. He's RB6, 87 off the board. And then you have Isaac Guerendo, who, is a little bit more expensive and goes at 147, pick 46. Isaac Guerendo goes ahead of guys like Nick Chubb, Rashal Tootin, Trey Benson, Jerome Ford, some other handcuffs, right? Ray Davis and Braylon Allen are behind Isaac Guerendo, and Ray Davis and Braylon Allen have gotten steamed up in offseason talk. Braylon Allen looks like he's going to have a pretty solid role in that offense. I'm projecting it to be probably like a 65 to 35 split with Braylon Allen getting a lot of goal line work in that offense. And then Ray Davis, of course, with the James Cook news. Ray Davis had 6 touchdowns last year and only like 28% of the snap share, and was pretty effective. So if you're looking at two guys in this room, and you're hoping that I'm going to go ahead and give you which guy is the player to own right now, I mean, I'm going to take the guy that's not injured currently, and Jordan James, right? And Jordan James was drafted by the 49ers in the 5th round this year. He's 21 years old, really fast player, ran a 4.5, 5.40, which is fine. Not the fastest 40-yard dash, but I don't care too much about 40-yard dashes for the running back position, but a good player in college, right? Had 233 rushing attempts, 1,267 total rushing yards, caught 26 passes as well. This is a guy that can catch passes out of the backfield, and 15 total touchdowns last year at Oregon. Where Isaac Guerendo, he's coming at a little bit more of a higher price, and if you are drafting, I would be drafting James. We'll see a little bit more as we get closer to the season, which was heavily where people are going to be drafting more, a week before, 2 weeks before the season starts. Hopefully Guerendo is back by then. But with the 49ers, we can really never really trust the injury reports with them. So we'll see. But Guerendo looked pretty healthy looked pretty good when he was on the field. 420 rushing yards, 5 yards per carry, 15 receptions, 152 receiving yards, and 4 total touchdowns in 16 total games last year. Obviously, Jordan Mason was the main guy there, when CMC missed some time. But that's going to do it for that running back room. Let's go ahead and move on here, to some more news and notes. Dennis is in the chat. He said, what's going on, guys? You amazing and beautiful people. What's up, Dennis? Thanks for hopping in. If you guys aren't already subscribed or haven't at least liked the show, please do so. It would help us out tremendously. Helps keep the lights on, because more followers, more viewers, more listeners, is going to help us out tremendously. So appreciate your support. Nick Chubb reportedly had the best day of camp so far. This running back room is absolutely atrocious right now. It's really not one that I'm heavily investing in. If I was going to take a running back in this room, it's definitely not Nick Chubb. So I just, I struggle with the Nick Chubb news, and bear with me here because I want to grab the entire Texans depth chart so far just to get a full read of who's in this room. But overall, I mean, the running back room outside of Joe Mixon, you have Damian Pierce, you have Woody Marks, who was drafted 4th round this year. The team traded up to get him. You have Jawar Jordan, J.J. Taylor, Dyer Ungumbawale, and Damian Pierce, who came off. I think he just came off the injury report. I'd have to check that out. I just think Joe Mixon's super concerning. I did put a video out recently a couple weeks ago, and Joe Mixon was one of my top 5 running backs that I'm fading at their ADP. I'm reading the tea leaves, a lot of red flags with him this offseason, and so far that's looking correct. I'm not going to pat myself on the back too much, but his ADP has dropped significantly, since that news has come out. But I think Jordan James is the guy that I would prefer in this room if I was going to take anybody. I don't know how much value Nick Chubb is going to have. He could be solid. And, right now, Nick Chubb is pick 148, RB 47 off the board, right? I think, if you're in a tough spot with your running back room and you just need bodies for the first few weeks because maybe you drafted a lot of young running backs that are rookies and you're hoping for, them to, maybe carve out a role later on into the season, Nick Chubb might just be a safe play in managed leagues because, he's likely going to be the number 1 back, in my opinion, to start for the first few weeks while Joe Mixon's out, which I expect Joe Mixon to miss the first few weeks. So that's a situation where I would take Nick Chubb if your running back room is not super strong, and you start getting to where Nick Chubb's drafted. It's Guerendo, who is not going to be a starter unless there's injury, and it's just a bunch of handcuffs outside of that, right? Maybe Jerome Ford is the starter if this whole situation with Quinshon Judkins doesn't get sorted out. But that's a world where I would draft Nick Chubb. I think it's a fine cost. But if I'm in a situation where my running back room is really good, I'm going to be looking at those premium handcuffs because I don't need or expect a ton out of them unless there's an injury, but I don't need them to start on my roster either. So, that would be a situation where, taking a guy like Nick Chubb would not be something I would advocate for. But moving on to some more news and notes, Shedeur Sanders, right? We have him as the thumbnail. We're going to talk about him. Shedeur Sanders right now, they have him allegedly he's going to be taking the first team reps, in this joint practice, I believe today. And so it's going to be a big test for Shedeur Sanders to see, I know a lot of people feel like he's not being set up for success. I've seen a lot of people complain about, him getting first team reps. The first time he's getting the reps is going to be in joint practice, and it's not setting him up for success. I think Shedeur Sanders would tell you to pound sand if you are making those claims, because I'm sure he's excited for the opportunity, right? This is a huge opportunity for Shedeur Sanders to go out there. Is it ideal circumstances that he hasn't been working with the first team? No, it's really not. But guess what? As a backup quarterback in season, you're going to be thrown into unideal circumstances, right? If you are, going to have to start or play, right? Mid game coming in, right? Those aren't going to be ideal circumstances. So similar to that, right? Shedeur is going to get